and a haunting thought that followed. What else is it that is right under our nose that we don't know about? Everything, she said. Probably everything. What's up, family? Welcome back to the Stop Sinking Show, where we go from struggle to flow. If I can get you, and quite frankly myself, to believe one thing, is that you already are. You already are everything you need to be. Everything you are trying to be is only going to be a process to unlock what it is that you already are. I feel like I've been on this theme recently to try and awaken to the truth that is me already. And when I first heard this and contemplated on it, I have to be honest, I rejected the notion altogether. How can you tell someone who is not exactly happy with their life and are not experiencing what they desire, how can you tell them that they already have everything they need to have? It's almost offensive and downright triggering. I definitely don't feel like I have everything that I need and can probably give you a list of deficits. So how can this be true? Because when taking a deep look at every major shift in my life, I honestly cannot credit it to anything outside of myself. There are so many things hidden deep below my consciousness that if I was to take a snapshot of it, of what is most available to my conscious right now, it would only be a snapshot and I would probably miss 99% of who I am. And I realized this after having the most recent revelation. For someone who has been journaling a long time and always fascinated by what comes through, I'm still frustrated when seeking for answers on the outside, on the countless podcasts and books that I consume. I'm always frustrated when all the help I'm seeking reaches a limit, and that limit is always the author directing the person back to themselves and saying, make a list of 20 things that you blank. Something that you have to sit there and think about and should come from you. So again, for someone thinking that I'm not already everything, and I do not have the answers myself and is so desperately looking for that missing piece to cause that epiphany, I'm always frustrated when it always comes back to being directed inwards. And because I put so much more believability in what comes from an outside source than what comes from within, that even my list of the things that I create is soiled by and discounted by the mistrust that I have for my own discretion. How do I know if this is right? But here's where I realize that this poses a problem and a hurdle. Because unless you are living a life that has a clear path laid out for you, meaning you are living someone else's life probably with a well-defined course to take, and certain professions come to mind, unless you are doing that, chances are you have to create a life for yourself with a unique path to serve your own unique goals and purposes, and taking into account your unique sets of skills and interests and passions and talents and your unique constraints and aversions, things you don't want to do. All of that is so tailor-made that you cannot find it outside of you anywhere. And if it isn't looking inside to figure out all those things and then assign a higher degree to trust to yourself of what is coming from the inside, then where do you expect to find such a unique combination of circumstances that creates a path best designed to bring out the best of your uniqueness? If it isn't in you, then where is it? The other day, I was working on something with my girl that we will be announcing soon. And as the natural process of discovery goes, you think you've figured out the thing until you figure out the thing bigger than it that houses the thing that you had originally thought. And we were struggling trying to figure out some of the details and the positioning and what exactly it is that we are trying to do. And I shared something with her, a written document when I was brainstorming this podcast, actually, from almost 3 years ago. And that had something written on it that was an idea of hers. Something I've wanted to incorporate, dying to talk about, but hadn't figured out how yet. And when she read it, on this 3-year-old document. Not that she had probably forgotten about it, but in the middle of what was this particular brainstorm exercise to figure out the angle of something completely unrelated, or so we thought, she realized how it actually is the umbrella, the missing piece to what we were looking for, the answer to the angle and the positioning that we were looking for. And the more we thought about it, the more in awe we were of how well it fit. And so was this clear slap in the face of something obviously right under our nose, and a haunting thought that followed. What else is it that is right under our nose that we don't know about? Everything, she said. Probably everything. It was almost like the haunting thought Goggins talks about after having endured the most treacherous battles to his body. If I can do this, how much can I really do? How much more do I have in me? What is it that I'm actually capable of? Like Jordan Peterson says, what is my upper limit? It's haunting to think about, especially when you witness the moments where you find yourself in spite of yourself, despite yourself. It's like the limiters were taken off and something in you unlocked. It's like you weren't even there and you just executed and you found and you discovered. That's where I think most of our problems lie. We were educated into idiocy, taught our limitations, given our governors, and we accepted them. Like a race car designed for the track congested in an inner city. All this horsepower, no room to gallop. Because of accepted constraints we were taught. You know, you can tie a baby elephant to a tree, and by the time the elephant grows and is way stronger than the ability of that chain to hold him, he has already learned his helplessness and never even tries to break free, believing fully that he is weaker than the chains. They say babies are born knowing every possible language in the world. They babble in all languages. It is only the education, the constant repeating of specific sounds around them, that etches away the other languages from them. It wouldn't be enough of a statement to say that they learn your language. It's more so that your education, your language that you repeat to them actually strips away. It takes away and de-educates them away from the other languages that they also babble in. If you had multiple sounds and languages around a child, their brain is plastic enough to retain and express themselves in all of them. So education, what you have learned, has actually been the greatest limiter to what you are today, because it has made you forget what you also are. Every gem you look for on the outside is already deep within your own treasure chest. This is why the process of hypnosis works, and practices and other interventions through substances that allow for the subconscious mind to be revealed. It is the seat within which all the answers comfortably lay dormant, your subconscious mind. And if you can access through certain practices like meditation, creating that gets you into flow state, hyperbaric chambers, so many things that you can try. If you can get past the shrouds, the limitations of your conscious mind that is, as acknowledged, very much limited by what is most available to it, if you can just trust and find ways to transcend the conscious mind, and you have experienced this multiple times in your life already, but if you can practice a way to do it in a way that is predictable, and you can transcend your conscious mind, which is definitely triggered. This conscious mind is definitely triggered when you believe or you try to believe that you have and know everything already, because the conscious mind can never elevate higher knowing to anything but itself. If you can silence this egoic mind, you will find within you a deep-seated bed of understanding that is beyond your wildest imagination, with knowledge way beyond your own understanding. It may be babble at first, but if you learn to attune to it regularly, it will speak to you in languages and words you never knew existed. Everything you've ever wanted to be is hidden in information right under your nose. You may learn this the hard way and search the globe, only to return back and find what you were looking for right in your backyard. Everything you will ever be is everything you already are. You have already arrived. Take off the blindfolds, the shrouds of ego, and see. Love you, family. See you in the next show. Stay true, always.